Hey everyone. So in this video I want to talk a little bit about life after the eating disorder. When I was when I had anorexia, I didn't really think that much about what life after it could look like. I think partly because I didn't actually think it was possible for a lot of the time. But also like when I did think about it, it was usually coming from a place of fear. So it was me feeling afraid of what would be left afterwards. I've talked about this a bit before when I've kind of discussed like who am I without my eating disorder and how that was quite a big thing for me because I just didn't know what would be left because eating disorder was so all consuming. Like it felt like it became part of my identity that and it took up all my headspace. So what could possibly fill that gap? And and so I was very much coming from a place of of fear really of yeah well what if I can't handle it? What if actually I'm there's nothing left without it? What if I can't deal with kind of real life? And and so that's really for me where the kind of thinking about life after the eating disorder stopped. But I really just wanted to share like what it's actually like because as you'll hopefully know if you're watching this, like I don't have an eating disorder anymore. Like not a shred of a trace of an eating disorder, and I really didn't think that that was ever going to be possible. But what that has really meant for me is that I can live my life on my own terms, and that has been huge. And it's funny because it's like I don't actually really reflect on, despite kind of the line of work that I'm in, I don't actually really reflect on that a huge amount, like how how my life is different now compared to how it was. But for me, it's really that thing around freedom and choice, and and I totally get that for some hearing that might even be scary because it's like, but the eating disorder is making all those choices for me and I don't know how to make them for myself. I don't know if I want to make them for myself. And I totally get that because that's really how I felt too. And with eating disorders there comes this whole thing around control. And again, that was like a big thing for me. So when I had the eating disorder, it was like the eating disorder was kind of taking care of, you know, calling the shots, making the decisions. It had the control. And I'm really keen to emphasize that point that the eating disorder had the control. It wasn't me, it was the eating disorder. And and it was in control of me. And just what I've been seeing so much more since I kind of fully recovered is that is kind of exploring this idea of control, and I've talked about it a bit before, but about how so often we put so much importance on this idea of control, but I just don't think, I'm not convinced that that's what life is about. And I see that every single day, that my kind of mantra now is to allow the unfolding, like allow life to do what it's gonna do. Like we still have choice. We still, that's not just throwing our hands up and saying, relinquishing any kind of say at all. Like we still have choices. We still can, choose the things that we want to do, and and that's amazing. But having this really kind of rigid focus on kind of gripping onto life, trying to control it, is actually really exhausting, and actually, in my experience, not helpful, because actually we're limiting our world so much, and actually there are so many things that we can't control, and actually, like, that is okay, that is normal. So kind of going back to this idea of life after the eating disorder, I think the idea of the unknown for me felt quite scary, but you know, the nature of the unknown is that it is unknown, and actually that is also okay, because yes, our minds can make up all sorts of what ifs about, you know, how I was saying earlier in the video about, what if I can't cope, what if it's not okay, what if, and we can listen to that, and we can believe that, or we can leave ourselves open to something completely different. And so I'm here right now without an eating disorder, and I'm really loving it. And that might seem really like a really obvious or silly thing to say, but it's having that autonomy, it's kind of empowering almost, you know, to be able to actually listen to myself and hear what my mind, body, and soul actually wants, and doing that rather than being caught up here and being ordered around and feeling like I have to do that. And so for me, that's just kind of cleared so much headspace, but it's also meant that I have actually been able to do loads of things that I never really kind of entertained before. You know, like, I really love traveling, and I'm able to do that on my own terms now, and not on eating disorders. And there's no, you know, chatter in the back of my head about, you know, anything eating or food related. It's just not there. And again, like, I'd never really thought I'd be in a position where that would be the reality. You know, that's not just, you know, me on a good day. That is every day that I just don't have that eating disorder noise in my head. And I'm not saying that, you know, after recovery it means that I'm you know, happy all the time. Like, as humans, we naturally have our ups and downs, and that's just how it is. And it's amazing, because it means that we get to experience and explore that whole range of feelings and emotions that we get to experience. But I am no longer ruled by a voice in my head that's, you know, telling me what I can and cannot do. So I just kind of wanted to share that, just to really kind of reinforce the point that, like, recovery is real and it's absolutely possible. And, you know, just, I think I just kind of wanted to remind you of that, and that, you know, after the eating disorder, there is so much more to experience, and that is totally on offer for everyone. That is totally accessible. So I just wanted to, yeah, I guess, kind of reinforce that, well, the message that recovery is possible, as we always say. So yeah, I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.